Well, a very good evening to you and a warm welcome to TV47 Weekend. I trust you're doing well this 18th day of June 2021. My name is Musa Salah. Coming up in the next 60 minutes. Tonight, politics dominate Chris Kirubi's memorial service as Kenyans eulogize him as a giver. ODM and Jubilee parties to field one presidential candidate in the 2022 general election. Solidarity forever. Public servants threaten to down their tools over salary review freeze. Welcome to the broadcast. Chris Onyango is our sign language interpreter. TV47 Weekend begins right now. Christopher John Kirubi was celebrated in an emotional funeral service on Friday at the Faith Evangelistic Ministries Church in Nairobi. He stood out as the man behind a number of strategic political alliances which shaped the political landscape and stability of the country. Grace Josephine with that report.
The memorial service of the late business magnate Christopher Kirubi was more of a celebration of a life well lived. He was many things to many people: a father, chairman, leader, golf partner, DJ, consummate businessman, etc. The high-profile funeral mass took place at the Faith Evangelistic Ministries in Karen, Nairobi on Friday. It was graced by elites, politicians and dignitaries from across Africa and beyond. The political class described Kirubi as a silent player in the game of chess when it came to politics, pulling the strings from behind. The late billionaire was the brains behind the short-lived Sonko Igathe ticket, which won the Nairobi County seat in 2017. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga revealed that it was indeed Chris who convinced him into a political deal with retired President Mwai Kibaki, following the disputed 2007 presidential elections, bringing to an end one of the worst bloodshed in Kenya's history.
Two people who came to approach me to agree to a compromise. One of them was Chris Kirubi.
It was Kirubi who designed the Sonko Igathe ticket.
Raila hailed Kirubi alias CK as a great fighter of corruption, pointing an accusing finger to those engaging in the vice.
He said there is very many ways of making wealth without having to steal. Those who steal, and after stealing that money, then they will run around and give donations to schools in terms of buses, women groups, youth, and then come to churches and donate millions of shillings without saying where that money is coming from.
Former Vice President Musalia Mudavadi reminisced on CK's lessons on how not to outshine the master, as demonstrated by unnamed politicians in the current regime.
And he said, now you will go far. Every time, remember, when your boss is there, do not try to outshine your boss. That was Chris Kirubi at a very personal level.
Kirubi, aged 80, died on Monday after a long fight with cancer. His burial is set for Saturday at his Thika farm in Kiambu County. Grace Josephine reporting for TV47.
Well, let's head over to matters salaries. Civil servant union leaders have condemned the Salaries and Remuneration Commission SRC's decision to freeze the revision of salaries for all public servants for the next 2 years. According to union leaders, SRC cannot make decisions that affect workers on behalf of employers. The workers have given SRC a 14-day ultimatum to retract the resolution that is expected to affect hundreds of workers across the country. Joash Onsare with that report.
Solidarity forever. A day after the announcement of non-review of civil servants' salaries for the next 2 years by Salaries and Remuneration Commission, a section of leaders representing various workers' unions have condemned the move, terming it unconstitutional.
We feel that Salaries and Remuneration Commission is a creature of the law. Now, when it's making decisions that are affecting hundreds of thousands of workers in this country, and millions of their dependents, that is an earth-moving decision that requires such a constitutional body to interact, to consult, and be able to engage the stakeholders.
The union's leaders say SRC has in the last few years continued to frustrate public servants and failing to honor court orders on workers' allowances.
For over 2 years, there has been deliberate efforts by the government and its agents to attack, frustrate, and suffocate the operations of public sector trade unions, including withholding trade union dues with blatant disregard of the law as well as defying court orders, and this has to stop.
SRC must stop. It is Stone Age dictatorial tendencies, unilateral decisions that are arrived at, and yet they are going to affect the rest of the country.
Labour CS Simon Chelugui, while addressing human resource officers in a congress held in Mombasa on Friday, said the move by the Remuneration Commission, together with the Minister of Finance and National Planning, will help in economic recovery journey amid COVID-19.
Yesterday, together with the Salaries and Remuneration Commission and the Ministry of Finance, did make an announcement to suspend any salary and wages and allowances freeze for the next 2 years. This is occasioned by advisory from the Ministry of Finance, and they have our revenues have diminished or negative, or rather come down, and we are not able to support additional cost of wages.
The leaders, led by Ernest Nadome, the Secretary General, Kenya Electrical Traders and Allied Workers Union, have given SRC an ultimatum of 14 days to withdraw the recommendation, or else they embark on a nationwide strike to oppose the move.
We remain fully opposed to any such move to freeze pay in the public service. And we are giving SRC 14 days during which it should withdraw this illegal declaration. For the union makes us strong.
Joash Onsare, TV47.
Now, still on matters involving money, the National Treasury has secured a 107 billion shilling Eurobond just a few days after Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani read the 2021-2022 budget in Parliament. Despite the new loan, the National Treasury has failed to keep its promise of disbursing 39 billion shillings to the counties. That is, the cash-strapped counties will have to wait until Monday when the Treasury will honor the promise. Take a look. Following a 3-day virtual roadshow led by National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani, Treasury has secured the 4th Eurobond worth 108 billion shillings. According to a statement by CS Ukur Yatani, the bond was oversubscribed, with investors offering over 508 billion shillings to the new issue, a gesture that Yatani says is a sign of strong global investor confidence in Kenya's economy. The Eurobond release has come as a relief to the cash-strapped county governments that are yet to pay their pending bills in the tune of 140 billion shillings. According to sources at the Treasury, the devolved units are expected to receive 39 billion shillings on Monday next week, after Treasury failed to keep its promise of disbursing the money on Friday. Although the share of commercial loans has grown sharply since 2014, forcing the government to raise additional loans in servicing the commercial debts, Treasury has justified its growing appetite for loans using the expected resultant higher GDP figures, which the Yatani-led ministry claims will help improve Kenya's debt to GDP ratios. The budget for the financial year 2021-2022 has a deficit of at least 900 billion shillings that the National Treasury plans to plug with loans. Ukuri Atani has already expressed plans to raise the national debt ceiling to accommodate this huge borrowing. Now, away from matters finance and the budget, the Kenya Medical Research Institute is set to receive 2.99 billion shillings by the end of this year in a bid to revamp the institute. Speaking during a tour of the Kilifi Kemri facility, National Assembly Health Committee Chair Martin Owino says the government is committed to supporting the institute in coming up with a Kenyan-made COVID-19 vaccine. The center has already begun phase 2 of vaccine trials in a bid to invent a COVID-19 vaccine.
2021 budget, we pushed in 2.57 billion just to help you do what you do best. And when it came, thank you. When it came to 2021, we also pushed at the primary source, at the primary stage, 2.84 billion. That's additional money. But this committee stood their ground and put their foot down and added 150 million. So in total, this 2021 FY, you are going to get 2.99 billion.
Za produce chanjo zetu hapa nchini Kenya, ile inahitajika ni utafiti na serikali kufanya pamoja ili kuhakikisha rasilimali ambazo zinahitajika zinapatikana. Production of vaccine is an expensive venture. Na it requires a lot of support both from the government na from the labs. In the lab tuko na timu ambayo inahusika na ni timu ambayo ina ujuzi wa hali ya juu.
Now moving on, the 1.5 billion shilling project of the construction of a 500-bed hospital at the JM Kariuki Memorial Hospital in Nyandarua County has begun. The project, which is expected to be completed in 3 years' time, will have an oxygen plant and various units. Residents have since lauded the move, saying that it will save them the agony of traveling long distances for specialized care. Speaking while presiding over the groundbreaking ceremony, Nyandarua Governor Francis Kimemia said the facility will be a game changer in the provision of healthcare in the county. The hospital is expected to attain level 6 status.
Hospitali ambayo itakuwa inakigharimu bilioni 1 na milioni 400, 1.4 billion shillings. Building yenyewe itachukua zaidi ya 600 million shillings na equipment na hizo vifaa vingine, vitanda, oxygen, vifaa vyote vya hospitali, scan machines, equipment zote zitachukua zaidi ya possibly 700,700. Kwa hivyo yote itakuwa ni 1.48 something, tuseme kwa 1.5 billion shillings.
Tumekuwa na shida sana hali ya matibabu. Wananchi wa Nyandarua wamekuwa wakienda Nakuru, wengine wanatumwa Nairobi na wengine hata wanaenda upande wa Nyahururu. Kwa hivyo tu hii hospitali ikishajengwa na imalizike, tunajua kwamba utakuwa ni usaidizi kwa watu wa Nyandarua.
Nafurahia kitendo chenye kimefanyika siku ya leo kwa na matibabu karibu na sisi, especially sisi wakaaji wa Nyandarua. Zamani tulikuwa tunaambiwa JM, lakini JM ukuja hakuna facilities. Building zile za 1963, but now tuko proud kuwa na msingi mwingine ambaye ni ya modern, ambayo itatusaidia katika afya yetu.
Now, the country has today recorded a total of 796 new COVID-19 infections, raising the country's cumulative tally to 178,078 cases. 328 persons have recovered after receiving treatment from various hospitals across the country as 3 people succumbed to the virus. The current national COVID-19 death toll stands at 3,437. Well, it's time to take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
Precast Panels, we have the best quality, durable and affordable precast panels to suit all your needs. Manufactured under a controlled environment, we have the best precast concrete panels, precast concrete floor slabs, precast concrete perimeter wall, precast concrete columns and beams. Our panels reduce construction cost by up to 40% with absolutely no plaster required, including added soundproof benefits. Convenient four-story buildings, schools, offices, residential houses, hospitals, and warehouses. Take advantage of our free transport. Contact us on 0702 24 7267 or 0796 24 7267. Global Precast Panels Limited, your reliable option for efficient construction.
These are the sights and sounds of a working nation. There are no shortages to remarkable ideas. What's missing is the will to execute them.
You need to stay relevant. If you don't, you're going to fade off.
Yes, they are a dime in a dozen, but the real meat on these bones comes from trying to realize them.
You just need to perfect anything. If it's drawing, if it's music, pursue it 100% because it's something that is giving back.
Join me, Violet Njoki, as I tell you the stories of these executed ideas, because yours could be next. Mondays, 7:30 p.m.
Hey, now that's hitting the right notes. When life gets boring, we bring out our play. You see, playfulness is in our DNA. It's in the way we move and laugh. It's in the way we walk, the way we rock, and how we just don't stop. You feel me? We add color to everything, to every day and every dish, because the world needs our crazy. We're the different flavors that make life more exciting. We're the ones who add color to every moment. Fanta, color every moment.
Well, the speaker is neither here nor there.
I should have done my outro from here.
Yes, no.
And we're just like that. I look beautiful.
Tune in to Morning Cafe, Mondays to Fridays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. with me, Linda Alela, only on TV47, the home of Untold Stories.
Welcome back. You're watching TV47 Weekend. Keep talking to us. 22047 is our SMS line. You can also find us on social media at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, as well as at TV47K on Twitter. The hashtag to use is always TV47 Weekend, and I'll be sure to read some of your comments towards the end of this bulletin. Now, moving on, Jubilee Secretary General Raphael Tuju has confirmed talks between Jubilee and ODM parties for a possible coalition ahead of next year's polls. According to Tuju, the talks have been ongoing with a task force in place with the aim of fielding a presidential candidate in the 2022 general election. However, Tuju says that all willing parties are invited to join the new political vehicle.
As the clock ticks ahead of 2022 general election, alignments are evident with Jubilee and ODM parties already in talks to form an alliance, with the task force already in place and more meetings held over the matter.
The way we've been working in Parliament, there's been consultations at that level, and we've been working in some small way outside Parliament, but not so much. And as we head towards 2022 elections, to have active engagement in terms of creating an alliance that would be good for this country.
According to Jubilee Secretary General Raphael Tuju, the move will see the alliance settle on suitable candidate who will fly the alliance's flag in the general election, saying this is equally the right time for Jubilee and ODM to formalize their relations.
If we reach an agreement in terms of coming up with an alliance, which is really on the cards, and that's what we are working towards, then we should have one presidential candidate for Jubilee and ODM.
The talks come amid heated debate across political divide on extension of the term of the current regime to allow constitutional changes through the BBI process. However, bitter exchanges have been witnessed lately between NASA principals Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka over the 2022 presidential ticket, though Tuju says any willing party is invited in the new alliance unconditionally.
In terms of an alliance, it has to be an alliance of the willing. So if other parties express that willingness to get into an alliance with Jubilee, just like we have that interest in having an alliance with ODM, then we'll be ready to have them on the table. As we have an alliance with KANU, and KANU did support our presidential candidate. We're ready to talk with anybody without any preconditions.
Kalonzo Musyoka allies, however, have hinted that they are open to work with like-minded parties in the next year's polls.
We all the country need to be greater than the party leaders and the parties. And for the purposes of uniting the country, I believe any coalition which is amiable, we don't mind it. We don't mind a coalition which works for the country and which serve the same ideology as the Wiper Party.
The Jubilee ODM talks to form a coalition is seen as a way of locking out Deputy President William Ruto, who has hinted of using UDA as his vehicle come 2022. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47 Nairobi.
A very interesting report there by our very own senior political affairs reporter Elizabeth Mutuku. Now, confusion, heavy traffic and long tiresome walks is what characterized the third and final test run at the Green Park Terminal in Nairobi, with thousands of passengers forced to seek assistance from Nairobi Metropolitan Services NMS officers to locate their stages. And as Daniel Masiza now reports, the passengers and PSV operators have accused NMS of poor communication.
The test run that commenced from 5 a.m. on Friday saw public service vehicles plying Langata and Ngong Road drop off and pick passengers at the new bus terminus, with the majority of passengers complaining of long walks to and from the central business district. The final test run was characterized with a lot of challenges, with passengers accusing NMS of failing to communicate.
Ile sida nimeona hata sikuwa nimejua gari imehamishwa hapa. Nimetoka kutoka BS, nimeambiwa hakuna gari huko, gari ni hapa. Sasa tumerudi kwa sida, sababu kutoka huko mpaka kutembea hapa ni sida.
Although the new pickup and drop-off point seeks to ease traffic within the CBD, PSV operators face numerous challenges while dropping and picking passengers today.
Hii mambo ya kuleta terminus imekuwa ngumu kabisa. Tunafikiria hata tungekaa 2 town ingekuwa afadhali. Ndio hapa tunakaa 2 hours. Bwana Uhuru anafaa afikirie maneno. Na angalie watu wa hii nchi, sababu wametuumiza, watu wa matatu wameumia kila mahali.
Vehicles plying the Langata Road route are set to enter Green Park through Lower Hill Road from Bunyala Road.
At Bunyala, they will be diverted or directed to take Lower Hill Road. Then they join Haile Selassie, Lower Hill Road, Haile Selassie roundabout junction, then into the terminus.
While vehicles plying Ngong Road will access the new terminus through NHIF Road. According to NMS Transport Roads and Public Works Director Michael Ocheng, the test run was successful despite a few hiccups.
The information that we are getting is pretty satisfactory to us. We know there are challenges,
We know there were challenges in the first test run, we corrected them. There were challenges in the second test run, picking, we corrected that. And there are still a few challenges on the third one. But the third one is moving much smoothly because we are taking a very big volume of the vehicles that were in the CBD.
PSVs will continue operating their normal drop-off points as NMS completes the construction of Park Road, Workshop Road, Fig Tree and Mudurwa Termini. Zainab Mohammed, TV47.
Well, that report has been produced by Daniel Masiza and voiced by Zainab Mohammed. Now, 13 counties from Nyanza and Western regions will from tonight operate under new COVID-19 protocols. Among the protocols is the curfew hours, which have been revised backwards to start from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. Locals are, however, blaming the misfortune on political class that threw caution to the wind and embarked on huge political gatherings. Mike Agwongo has the details.
In Bungoma town, livestock vendors say the imposed ban on market days will adversely affect them, as their livelihood depends on the prohibited business.
Serikali yetu kama inatusimamisha penye tunatolanga pesa za kupeleka watoto shuleni, tutafanyaje? Emeloketa pesa ngapi ambayo itasaidia kama ni mwananchi wa chini ambao tutasaidiana?
Hatuna njia yoyote ambapo tumeundiwa ambapo tunaenda kusaidiwa. Watoto wanaenda shule mwezi wa 8. Tunaomba serikali yetu ya kaunti itushughulikie, ilete mitungi, ilete barakoa, ilete kila kitu chochote ambacho kinaweza saidia mwananchi wa kawaida.
Taxi operators on their side say their business was dwindled by the first wave, leaving them in vulnerable position economically, now blaming the political class for acting in oblivion to the existing Ministry of Health regulations in regard to COVID-19.
Na wale ambao wanasambaza huu ugonjwa sana ni viongozi wetu. Huku sisi wanatuambia wananchi tujaribu kutumia barakoa ama to keep distance. Hali hao wakienda hizo mikutano zao, they don't keep the regulations and rules za health.
Inaumiza wamama kwa maana watakuwa na wakati, by the time anakuwa anatengeneza hizo samaki, sasa watu waanze kuchukua, ndio wakati ya kafi itakuwa imefika.
Meanwhile, in Kisii County, residents have hit at the government over curfew hours, saying reviewing the hours to 9 p.m. will allow them some ample time to sell their merchandise, which they trade for daily bread.
Wangeweka at least ikuwe hata saa 3 hivi kuliko saa 1, ingekuwa fair. Hata sisi wenyewe hayo masaa ndio biashara yetu inaanza, juu nauzanga samaki, na biashara ya samaki inaanza kuanzia saa 1 hivyo mpaka kitu saa 3.
We had been proposing through our representatives that the government can give us some incentives, even tax reliefs, so that we may come up.
The situation is similar in Trans Nzoia County. Business persons says office workers are their target. Thus, the 7 p.m. curfew will deny them customers.
Kama mfanyabiashara akifika masaa ya saa 1 jioni, masaa 12 saa 1 jioni, ndio wateja wanakuja wanatoka kwa ofisi, ndio watuchangie sisi pia tupate at least riziki ya siku. Lakini sasa hivi ikiwa saa 1 tumeshafunga, kumaanisha kwamba umekaa bila kazi mchana kutwa, mchana yote. Kwa hivyo unaenda nyumbani bila pesa, utakula nini?
Supermarket watu wanakutana mchana kutwa, lakini kuingia kwa mambo ya kanisa ni kama kumekuwa na mapendeleo kidogo, ambayo tunaweza sema ni mapendeleo, kwa sababu sisi kama kanisa tungeweza kupanga mpango wa kuweza kuwaleta watu wachache.
Deputy Governor Stanley Kenei urging residents to observe the protocols to avoid finding themselves on the collision course with the law.
Please, curfew starts at 7 o'clock. Everybody should be home by 6 o'clock. These are students, I'm sure they'll be home early. The teachers, please. Funerals, it's only 50 people now. Weddings, it has been reduced to 30 people. All the churches have been closed.
Bungoma County has reported 13 cases today, whereas Kisii County reported 24 new infections. Trans Nzoia County recorded 15 infections, while Busia, Vihiga and Kakamega recorded 41, 23 and 19 respectively. For TV47, I'm Mike Kagwongo.
Well, thank you, Mike Agwongo, for that report. And quickly to take a look at some of your comments on social media. Paul Lois Nyambura says he's watching from Chepkoyo, and he says that the curfew has made them take their supper at 7 p.m. Well, Paul, stay safe. And of course, Lauren Cash agrees with him. And Albert Hamasi says he's tuned in from Pipeline Stage Mpia. And of course, Kosgei Tor watching from Majengo Kainamai, Kilifi South. Keep talking to us. 22047 is our SMS line. You can also find us on social media at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, as well as at TV47K on Twitter. The hashtag to use is always Tv47 Weekend. It's time to take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
Global Precast Panels, we have the best quality, durable and affordable precast panels to suit all your needs. Manufactured under a controlled environment, we have the best precast concrete panels, precast concrete floor slabs, precast concrete perimeter wall, precast concrete columns and beams. Our panels reduce construction cost by up to 40% with absolutely no plaster required, including added soundproof benefits, convenient four-story buildings, schools, offices, residential houses, hospitals, and warehouses. Take advantage of our free transport. Contact us on 0702 24 7267 or 0796 24 7267. Global Precast Panels Limited, your reliable option for efficient construction.
These are the sights and sounds of a working nation. There are no shortages to remarkable ideas. What's missing is the will to execute them.
You need to stay relevant. If you don't, you're going to fade off.
Yes, they are a dime in a dozen, but the real meat on these bones comes from trying to realize them.
You just need to perfect anything. If it's drawing, if it's music, pursue it 100% because it's something that is giving back.
Join me, Violet Njoki, as I tell you the stories of these executed ideas, because yours could be next. Mondays, 7:30 p.m.
Hey, now that's hitting the right notes. When life gets boring, we bring out our play. You see, playfulness is in our DNA. It's in the way we move and laugh. It's in the way we walk, the way we rock, and how we just don't stop. You feel me? We add color to everything, to every day and every dish, because the world needs our crazy. We're the different flavors that make life more exciting. We're the ones who add color to every moment. Fanta, color every moment.
Well, the speaker is neither here nor there.
I should have done my outro from here.
Yes, no.
And just like that, I look beautiful.
Tune in to Morning Cafe, Mondays to Fridays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. with me, Linda Alela, only on TV47, the home of Untold Stories.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku. Pata offers zote mahali pamoja ili uongeze zaidi, utume SMS zaidi na ubrowse zaidi.
Wewe usijali, tuma namba ya kila supplier kwa hiyo soko.
Nitajua vile nitaongea na kila mmoja wao.
Very good. Piga *444 hash utunukiwe Credo double.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa ofa kila siku.
A show with a unique perspective. Welcome back. You're watching TV47 Weekend. President Uhuru Kenyatta has called for the democratization of multilateral organizations so as to ensure inclusivity in decision-making. The president, who spoke Friday at an interactive session on governance at the ongoing Antalya Diplomatic Forum in Turkey, said changing how multilateral institutions such as the United Nations are managed will help in quicker resolution of global challenges such as COVID-19. He observed that the global multilateral system was not operating optimally and expressed optimism that the world leaders will, through diplomacy and dialogue, develop new order that fosters inclusivity. The President Kenyatta said it is unfortunate that some countries have more COVID-19 vaccines than they require, while others are struggling to access enough doses. On Africa's response to COVID-19, President Kenyatta said the continent united behind the African Union, which ensured all countries had equitable access to resources needed to fight the pandemic.
We're actually very much on the forefront of doing and following the kind of guidelines that had been laid out. We were also very active in the very early stages, participating with a lot of the companies and corporations that were developing vaccines, participating in the clinical trials. But unfortunately, despite our preparations, when it came to the crunch, and the crunch was access to the very same vaccines that would have given us all protection, we were at the bottom of the list. Now, this is something that truly indicates that the kind of vaccine, kind of nationalism that we have seen, the kind of bias that you have seen in terms of hoarding critical vaccines, where you have countries today that have 50 vaccines to every citizen, and yet you have countries that are crying just to give their citizens a single dose. I think this kind of thing actually shows that we really need to deepen cooperation, and not just cooperation in terms of the global financial situation, but in terms of all actions that we take. If it's climate change doesn't affect one country as opposed to another. It affects the globe. If it's the world financial situation, it affects the globe. So we need to have a greater cooperation, greater participation, and I believe that's why forums like this become much more important. And I couldn't agree more than what President Erdogan said here in his opening statement when he said that we need our multilateral institutions to be much more representative of the global population as opposed to the interests of a few.
Well, let's take a look at some business news, and it is a sigh of relief for coffee farmers in Baringo County following the launch of coffee milling factory, which was launched today by the county government in conjunction with Lee Tech Company from Korea. The coffee mill is meant to enable the farmers who have been relying on livestock keeping to diversify their agricultural output to earn an income. Our reporter Boniface Barasa has the details.
In this small village of Osen location, Baringo County, history has been made following the launch of this coffee milling machine. Baringo Deputy Governor Jacob Chepkwony says the coffee mill is anticipated to create employment opportunity, thereby transforming the livelihoods of the locals who've been pastoralists for ages.
Initially, other milling agencies could come, sign contracts with our farmers when they are really in need of money. But now, with the union, the county government, and the direct sales in Korea. So we shall be able to manage that progress. and we shall be able to ensure that we produce quality coffee, and our partner here will create also the market there, which is a huge market.
This factory will go a long way in ensuring that, one, we reduce poverty level in our county. When farmers grow crops, they are able to sell, and the money they are going to get will enable them to live a better livelihood.
Chepkuni has encouraged farmers in Baringo Highlands to venture into large-scale coffee farming. He says the milling has a capacity of grinding 1.2 tons of coffee per hour.
Around Baringo, we have also other counties like Elgeyo Marakwet. We have also like Kipia. We have Nakuru County. We have also Uasin Gishu County. We believe that the mill will get enough coffee to mill.
Farmers have lauded the move, saying it will bring to an end the era of frustrations occasioned by cartels in the sector.
Watu walikuwa wamekuwa sisi huko mambo ya grading nini sasa hii kitu itafanya sisi tunaleta kawa yetu hapa, tunakuja kushaka hapa na wana grade sisi tukiona na tutauza vile tumeona kawa yetu.
This comes at a time when coffee farming in Kenya is faced with a myriad of challenges, with some farmers in Limuru, Nyahururu, Murang'a and Nyeri forced to uproot coffee and replace it with high-rise flats owing to poor pay. Boniface Barasa, TV47.
Illegal fishing gear worth 300,000 shillings and 40-meter long have been destroyed today in Mombasa County. The exercise, which was led by Senior Resident Magistrate Vincent Adet, saw nets that were impounded from various fishermen between February and April burnt to ashes. 7 fishermen were caught in the Tudo Creek area, Toyo and Kipevu and Old Town Mombasa. The fishermen were arraigned in court and convicted. Speaking during the exercise, the Director of Enforcement and Emergency, Joyce Awino, said the agency was enforcing maritime laws by ensuring that fishermen use the required fishing gear in order to protect the diversity of the ocean for posterity, as well as use the ocean to get resources through the blue economy.
The case at hand relates to persons arrested for fishing using illegal and substandard fishing gears who were arraigned in court and convicted. Other nets were also withheld when during a patrol in the Old Town beach area, and the fishermen ran away, citing the Kenya Coast Guard Service officers. The station has sought court orders to destroy the said gears, and due procedure was followed as guided by NEMA. So today we have destroyed 5 beach sign nets, about 40 meters long each, made from 20 mosquito nets sewn together.
That net, as I said, it is very destructive because it catches the eggs of the fish, it catches the small fish, and it catches the big fish. And for one, the small fish and the eggs, they are supposed to be left so that they can grow and become big to be caught for another day. But when a fisherman uses this kind of net, he takes everything, leaving the sea like a desert. And then the same net destroys the corals, which are the breeding habitats for the fish. It also destroys the sea grasses and any other ecosystem within the sea, leaving the sea like a desert.
Well, let's keep talking to us. 22047 is our SMS line. You can also keep talking to us on social media at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, as well as at TV47 Kenya on Twitter. The hashtag to use is always Tv47 Weekend. It's time to take a look at what is happening in the world of sports. And of course, our sportsman Dennis Otieno is on standby on the other side of the studio. Good evening, Dennis. What do you have for us this evening?
Well, good evening to you too, Musa Salah. Now, tonight, we shall be telling you about the second batch of athletes selected to represent the country in the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. We shall also be telling you about football enthusiasts and what they're doing to better the state of football in Baringo County. Now, this and more coming up. And it's time for the sports news with me, Dennis Otieno. Now let's start off with matters athletics. The men's 10,000 race and women's 3,000 meter steeplechase race highlighted the second day of the Athletics Kenya trials for the Tokyo Olympics at the Kasarani Stadium. 2015 world silver medalist Geoffrey Kamworor and Commonwealth Games 10,000 meter bronze medalist Rogers Kwemoe clocked 27 minutes 1.07 seconds and 27 minutes 5.51 seconds respectively to book their tickets at the Tokyo Games. Now Hyvin Kieng and Beatrice Chepkoech dominated the women's 3,000 meter steeplechase, with Kieng going first in 9 minutes 24.5 seconds as Chepkoech placed second half a second later. The three-day event is set to come to a close on Saturday to pave way for the naming of Kenya's representatives at next month's Global Showpiece.
The only medal I'm lacking in my cabinet is almost an Olympic medal, which so far so good. I'm seeing interesting things coming on my way. I'll just continue training hard and focusing to at least attain a medal, at least a medal in the Olympics.
I feel good because I have qualified today. Towards Olympic now, I think I'm focusing something good, better than that I had silver in Rio, but now I think I'm focusing something.
Now moving on to matters rugby. KCB Rugby Sevens team head coach Curtis Olago is confident his players will register good results and successfully defend their title as the Kenya Cup resumes this Saturday after a 2-month suspension due to the coronavirus pandemic. Speaking during their training session at the KCB Sports Club, Olago revealed his players are well prepared and highly motivated, which he attributes to their continued training during the break. KCB, who are joint top with Cabras, are way to nondescript RFC on March Day 5 at the Impala Club, with Olago taking a game at a time.
Yeah, we've been out for so long and the boys are very excited. We want to see if what we've trained over the weeks will work, and we are hungry. We're hungry for another title of the league.
Now it's not about who's been winning and who's not been winning. Yeah, everybody is just trying to get to recover the time lost. So I mean, we are working step by step to get to where we were the last time, but it's not easy. I mean, the boys are putting in a lot of work to make sure that we are getting.
Now, football enthusiasts in Baringo have taken a lead step in carving out the region as a football hub, despite the financial problem that continues to bedevil Kenyan clubs. Division 1 side Maji Marefu from Eldama Ravine is one of the clubs that offers hope in the region, despite walking with financial handcuffs. Stephen Kiprop paid the club a visit and now reports from Baringo.
It is each athlete's dream to scale greater heights in their career, and if things play to the correct script, earn a penny or two from the sport. However, for the Kenyan sport industry, it is a sad and ugly story. The grass has never been green. Timely salary remuneration to players almost a mirage. For the catch-up local clubs, top-tier league not exempted. Away from the top flight, dry pockets have courted and married grassroots teams. Division 2 side Maji Mazuri in Koibatek, Baringo County, not safe either. Team captain David Mugo, nicknamed Babatov, reveals that the love for the game has kept them going despite the challenges.
So sisi kila mchezaji anakuwa na target ya kucheza ball iweze kumlipa. But tukiangalia kwa timu yetu, sisi tunaitaga moyoni. Tunaicheza juu ni passion. Lakini kama ingewezekana tuweze kupata malipo, ile performance tunatoa ya 99%, tungeweza kufikisha 100%.
Head coach Peter Kamau warns that the mere love for the sport has left Kenyan players languishing in extreme poverty and ill health once career-ending injuries knock.
Sema ni ati our players wetu wengi tunawanacha hapa kwa grassroots, but ile exposure ndio hawapati. Na ile kazi ngumu sisi tunafanya ili waweze kufika kwa league kama hii, ili waweze kucompete na other players, other teams from other counties. Unaona tena hakuna pesa. So inakuwa very hard kwa huyo player kufika mahali penye anaweza onekana na timu zingine zenye ziko leagues za juu ili aweze kupata hizo contracts zenye ataweza kupata pesa. So inabidi tu wacheze hii ligi yetu ya hapa miaka inaenda, talent yake inaisha, anaishia hapo. Wengine wanaumia hata kwa field wanaumia, tunakosa pesa ya kuwapatia good medical cover. So wengi wanaisha kwa sababu ya injuries.
Countless times, it is the fan base that has bailed out Maji Mazuri FC, the club faulting the Baringo County government for its reluctance to invest in sports. According to Coach Kamau, an idle youth is a criminal youth.
Because hawa vijana wasipocheza, kutakuwa na a lot of things zinaendelea kwa vijiji, crimes zitakuwa mob, hawa jamaa hata wengine wataacha shule. Kwa sababu wengine wanaenda hata shule ndio waweze kucheza ball. So tusipopatia support sports kwa county itakuwa shida.
Hiyo ndio kawaida yetu kwa sababu tunapenda hao vijana na tunapenda hii timu yetu. Inabidi tunaenda kibarua, tunakuja tunawasupport juu ni watoto wetu. Na tunategemea na tunataka tuone wakicheza game mbali.
Vile ambavyo mnaona kijiji, wengine wetu watu si vile si watu ambao tunajiweza kabisa kifedha.
Sports enthusiasts now call on stakeholders to up their game to carve out Eldama Ravine and by extension Baringo County as a football hub.
Naweza sema kwa county government yetu imekuwa reluctant sana ku-invest pesa kwa sports, because every time tukiuliza budget ya sports inakuwa kidogo sana. So it's like they don't hawapati maanani michezo ambayo hao vijana wetu wanacheza.
It is the cries of grassroots soccer players pleading with the government to invest more in sports so that they can benefit before hanging their boats. Stephen Kiprop, TV47 Sports, Baringo County.